Any women who date men, pay attention to her story. These men are obsessed with babies. I am so mad for her, and I'm going to get into why. To be honest, I'm glad they're separated. This douchebag does not deserve her. This is not the first time she has been screwed over by men obsessed with having children that they probably will never raise. And I want to show a couple tweets that made me realize, like, put these things together. I like to give credit where credit's due, and these have had me think. Okay, this is their handle right here. Summarize here. Now that it's come out why they've gotten divorced, this is so important. Because they can't have kids. He wants kids, she doesn't. He knew she didn't want any. She's always made this very clear, and she's been in the news about it before because of the legal battle with her prior to Joe. And I'm going to go into that in a second because that guy sucked. And now, knowing how often these men try to get us pregnant, I believe this. I really feel like he did it on purpose because there's a 4-year age gap, which is nothing, y'all. She's the oldest. I think she's like 51. So why are you just now bringing up that you want funky kids? It's just so manipulative and messed up. And I absolutely agree with that take. This dude's trash. And this is just as important. I think a lot of men don't think about childbirth seriously because they don't have to do it. She's in her 50s with a child in his 30s. It also reminds me of this text. Leaving a toxic relationship without a child is a big win. I need women to be stingy with their wombs. Don't carry a child for a confused or toxic man. This right here. And one last perspective. When the men who actually do care about their children, men will do this. And I love this. Fellas, is it gay to love your children? Yeah, under toxic masculinity, they think loving your wife, talking about her like you cherish her, loving your children, literally doing anything that's good is gay. Which is rooted in misogyny, homophobia, and all the things. And all this is also rooted in white supremacy culture, but whatever. That's another video. And then this, right? These men are out here thinking, I really want to be a dad. Yeah, I want to be a dad. I'm going to be a dad. Meanwhile, this is what women talk about. Every time you ask a woman about pregnancy or childhood, she'll go, oh, it wasn't so bad. And I was actually really lucky. All that happened was... And then tell the most terrifying story you have ever heard. Isn't that the truth? Someone sneezed and they'll, oh, excuse me, I just prolapsed my uterus. Let me just shove it back in there. And there's the whole list. And that's a whole nother video. They steal calcium from your teeth. These babies are parasites. And I didn't realize just how crazy I've never wanted to have children. Ever. But I didn't realize just how dangerous it was for women until 2 people in my friend group, when they all started having kids, 2 of them out of 6 were life flighted to the hospital because they were literally dying. Both of them literally were dying during childbirth. And I was like, oh my God, right? And these are white women. We know in the United States, Black women are roughly 6 times more likely to die in childbirth because of systemic racism and racism, personal racism within the staff and just the whole system, right? Conditions in other women of color, but especially Black women and misogynoir, which is so dangerous to pregnant women. Any Black women who end up in the hospital. But this man is 47. First of all, she looks so much better than him. But 4 years is not a big age gap. I am 5.5 years older than my husband. We got married when I was 42, I think. One of the first things that we talked about was, you want children? No. You want children? No. That is, and there's no way, given what she went through with this trash ex of hers that I'm about to go into, there's no way they didn't talk about this. There's no way she did not make it very clear. No more kids. So I think he just, so many men, they'll just, they get in their 40s, 50s, or, Robert De Niro and what's his butt, Al Pacino. They're 70, 80, and they're like, why not have another kid? I'm about to die any day. I just have another one. because actually parenting is not on my radar. I don't care about parenting. I just need to have a legacy. God. In fact, I'm going to add one personal story. One of my friends goes to Schmeg's clubs, is in the libertine scene here in France, which is pretty big. And her partner is like almost, I don't know, he's 50 something, well into his 50s, and tried to convince her to have his baby. And she was like, I don't ever want kids. Why would you even ask me that? He's going around asking any women that he's hooking up with because he just wants a baby. But he travels full time, goes to Schmeg's clubs, doesn't want to get married, doesn't actually, like, when he described what he thought parenthood would be or fatherhood would be, it was like no involvement whatsoever. I was like, I can't believe these men actually admit out loud what they think fatherhood would be. Just knocking a woman up so that they die knowing that they left a legacy, that their life wasn't completely self-absorbed and pointless like so many of these men, because they don't actually pour into anyone but themselves, don't create community, don't raise their children, don't pour in, not even good uncles. You know what I mean? Look at his cheeks. Like, this man is literally goes to Schmeg's club several times a week, but now he wants to be a dad, but he literally doesn't live anywhere. He lives everywhere. And this man is when they see 50 coming, they want a wife because they need a woman to take care of them. They want kids because they don't want to feel like their life was pointless. But fatherhood to them does not mean parenting. Father to him, social capital. It's a title. It's about ego. It's about having a little mini me. But it has nothing to do with loving and nurturing and mentoring and supporting and all the things that come into parenthood. Nothing. Don't believe these men. They don't want to be fathers. They don't. Look, he's got his woman now. Gonna put a baby in her, I'm sure. I don't know anything about her, but I do know that she has a lot of photos from Burning Man like this. I don't care. I don't care anything about it. I know she's 33 when he started dating her, which is around the age of Sofia's son. Sofia's ex, I can't stand him either. So I read about this in The Guardian. Then led me to this op-ed that he wrote, and holy horrifying. Y'all should read this because this gets you into the mindset of men. Broken men, selfish men, misogynistic men who don't understand how risky it is for women to have children, and who to them it's more about ownership and legacy and all the wrong things and fantasy. It's fantasy. He met Sofia in 2010 and he was like, she's about to take off. I want her to fulfill her dreams and reap the rewards of her hard work. But 6 months into our relationship, I was in a terrible car wreck. My pelvis was fractured in 5 places. 6 months I couldn't walk on my own. Be careful of these dumb epiphany moments of men. I saw how life could change in the blink of an eye. I want a baby. So when you know what? I bet she was taking care of him that whole time. He doesn't mention that. But if he couldn't walk for 6 months, and this is the woman that is going to get engaged to, who do you think is doing everything for him? I mean, maybe they hired someone, but she's still doing a lot. So when they got engaged in 2012, I began to push for children. My fiance insisted that we use a surrogate. Oh, why? Because she doesn't want to die? Because she's probably pissing her pants still from that last baby a long time ago? Because she doesn't want to ruin her career with a pregnancy, her career that's taking off? So the first ones didn't take, the second one got miscarried. I was crushed. A year later, we tried again. It became clear that, parenthood was much less urgent for her than it was for me. She's already a parent. Look at this, as I was coming on 40. Car wreck and 40, y'all. Do not believe these men when they have these epiphanies. It is not about wanting to be a parent. It is about their own mortality, their ego, and all the things I just talked about. I gave her an ultimatum and she refused, so we split up. Good for you, Sofia. I love this. Now, why was he so hell-bent on having kids, other than the car accident and turning 40? Daddy issues. His dad, my father, whom I love, just in case y'all don't know, worked as a freelancer, as a diplomat. He was not around much. Shocker. As work and travel left little time for parenting. So basically, he was raised by his Irish Catholic nanny, Renee, because his parents got divorced when he was 1 year old. His dad gained custody, which I find questionable now, knowing that his dad wasn't even around. I'm always suspicious when a man gets custody and fights for custody, but isn't even there. A lot of men will fight women for custody just to punish the mother. I can't tell you how often this happens. These men don't want to be fathers. He's literally raised by his nan. So for some reason she disappeared and they didn't see her till he was 9. I'm not saying, maybe she was like a crazy narcissist psycho, I don't know, okay? And I don't have the time to go and do all this research. All I'm saying is that I always question the circumstances around that. And then she died when he was 20. This made me yearn for the type of family based on the images one might see in a Norman Rockwell painting. Okay, see, I'm telling y'all, daddy issues, mommy issues, broken pelvis in 6 places because of a car wreck turning 40, and a fantasy about Norman Rockwell, blah, 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 that you think is just going to happen. Have you been to therapy? Have you really dealt with all this stuff? Because I'm thinking you haven't, and like so many men, they just become obsessed with having a child, but how much you want to bet he's not even going to be around for that child? I don't even know. Maybe he's had some. I don't care. I don't care about this man. I'm using examples of the kind of men, look what they put her through. But before I do that, many have asked me, because he's suing her, or he did. She won, thank God. He sued her over the rights to those embryos. Many have asked me, why not just move on and have a family of your own? I have every intention of doing so. But that doesn't mean I should let the 2 lives I have already created be destroyed or sit in a freezer to the end of time. These are men who make decisions around abortion. They're embryos. They're not babies. No, they're embryos. They're not alive. There's a possibility of life. They are not alive. They do not have more rights over Sofia. Okay, so he was married to someone for 4 years with whom I tried to have children with the help of fertility specialists. They had a lot of difficulties, and he was like, life is so special because they had difficulties. When she left me, okay, bro, why'd she leave you? Maybe she realized that you're obsessed with kids and don't actually care about her, but you just want children. I don't know. It's what I'm thinking. Dreams of my family were shattered. And so why did he decide to sue her? This right here. His Norman Rockwell fantasy and all this other stuff, but this right here. This month, Renee, the nanny who raised him because his dad didn't, who was essentially my mother, passed away. I had imagined, here we go, fantasy, that she would be alive to see my children and play with them. I pray that it won't be too late for my father, who will be 85 in May, to see his grandchildren. So he sued Sofia. Huge, embarrassed her in front of the media. So I don't know how much this lawsuit cost her. All this stuff. This man is so selfish and delusional. Thank God she won that case. And then look at his reason. When we create embryos for the purpose of life, should we not define them as life rather than as property? That's not what she's doing, bro. It's not about property. It's about her not wanting 2 children out there without her consent. This is about consent. Look, and I want also to women, take note. So she's been screwed so much, but she's a very smart woman. And she predicted a lot of this and tried to protect herself legally, and these fools still keep trying to get around it. Does one person, her personal desire to avoid biological parenthood outweigh another's religious beliefs and the sanctity of life and desire to be a parent? Yeah. I don't give a crap about men's religion or anyone's religion. When your religion infringes on my rights and my body, fuck off. You do you, boo. But don't make Sofia, against her will, have children. And then look at this argument. A woman is entitled to bring a pregnancy to term even if the man objects. See, men love this. You did not object to coming inside of her. Swear to God. These men, they're like, it's not fair. She can abort a baby without my permission. She can have a baby without my permission. But who put that baby in her to begin with? You, bro. If you're so confused about this, God, Shouldn't a man who is willing to take on all the parental responsibilities be similarly entitled to bring in his embryos to term, even if the woman objects? They're not yours, they're yours. And this right here shows you how he thinks. When I was in my 20s, I had a girlfriend who had an abortion, and the decision was entirely out of my hands. So I decided to come inside of her instead of protecting myself from the consequences of that. Somehow, even though she's the one who could die, she got to decide without my say. It's not fair. It's not fair. Ever since, I have dreamed about a boy at the age he would be now. You want a boy. Be sure you did not know the gender of that fetus. Most of these men want boys. Boys to be a mini-me, or girls who will take care of them, who they can control and reenact their weird Freud crap. Looky here. Sofia was super smart. I did not realize how much you really need the law to protect you from men who love you, but I love that she was ahead of it. And so 2030, Sofia and I agreed to try to use him. This is back before she left him for his ultimatum. To have a surrogate. We signed a form stating that any embryos created through the process will be brought to term only with both parties' consent. And he's like, but the form didn't specify what would happen if we separated. I'm asking it to have it void. Bro, what part of this do you not understand? Oh, yeah, most men don't understand consent. Or they do, just try to stick your finger up their butt. They know about consent then. But when it comes to, putting babies in us, coercion, grape, all that stuff, they're like, what? I don't get it. What's consent? Teach me with the little teapot cartoon. Imagine having gone through all that. This man has the audacity to just spring this on her, because I guarantee you they had that conversation. And he's allowed to change his mind. But my guess is that most men, he doesn't really want to be a father. He wants the title of father, but he doesn't want to father the verb. This is her son. He's in his 30s. She was a mother at 19. The fact that she was a mother and still was able to have a career in Hollywood, like the place that literally destroys women's esteem, I admire her so much for the success that she has, despite knowing what I know as a woman in the entertainment industry and having, lived in LA for a while, in New York and all that stuff, and seeing what my friends go through who are actors. Women are treated so bad in that industry. She still made a career. She already has a kid. Why would she want a kid now? And, she says here, my marriage broke up because my husband was younger. No, I think it's because your husband lied to you. There's nothing wrong with being with younger men. I know a lot of women. Most of my friends are actually with men who are 3 to 5 years younger than them. So don't let the media convince you that this is about don't get a younger man, they'll make you have a baby or whatever. No, this to me seems about deception and the delusion of men and their obsession with being fathers, even though most of them will be deadbeat fathers. I feel that it's not fair to the baby. She knows that she probably can't say it's not fair to me because the press will eat her alive. But I had a son at 19 who's now 32, and I'm ready to be a grandmother, not a mother. No one in their 50s wants to be a mom unless they haven't already been a mom, probably. Okay, maybe not no one. But I'm almost in menopause. My son becomes a dad, let him bring the baby to me for a while, and then I'll give it back. Give it back to him and go on with my life. That's what I have to do. Icon. I hate how the media has treated her whole career. Even this douchebag, Howie Mandel, making jokes about her divorce days after it, wouldn't stop, and she had to walk off. The way the media treats her, recently, even Kelly Clarkson's little interview recently, respecting her about how much hair and makeup she had to go into and being whatever, look it up. She recently talked about limiting her roles are because of her accent. Despite all the things that and I don't even know the things she's been through. These are just the ones I know. Oh my God, look at him. Has still managed to have a very successful career. And I love that she will not let some man baby trap her. And she's showing us how to protect yourself and center yourself from these men obsessed with them.